Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are live, we are live, we are live. We're live on IG, live on YouTube, live on Facebook, live on all three major streaming platforms, giving you that information however you want to consume it. Of course, this is Seejeanty, your man out here in Haiti, giving it to you direct, not just some guy reading info from uh, news sources, but actually living the Haiti experience, taking time out of my morning to to have conversations with folks who are both here in Haiti, folks who are out of Haiti, about what's going on, and most importantly, about what we can do, the impact change from a business perspective. Haiti Biz News Show, Monday to Friday, bringing you news that's going to keep you informed, engaged, and reacting in the most optimal way for business investment and entrepreneur activity. Today is the 20th of September, Bali, right? So, good morning for the folks who are watching me live right now. I certainly appreciate you guys clicking on that notification while you're going through your morning routine and allowing this guy to chat with you. Those who are watching it afterwards, appreciate you as well for taking the time to check out what was discussed and stay current, right, throughout your day. For our Jackson out here in Facebook land, good morning to you, my dear. You just dropped a comment. Good morning, good morning. So, what's going on? What's going on today, right? Of course, we had some announcements. We dropped a fantastic video last week on the Burger Week. Okay, well, thanks, Farah. I will fix that. As soon as the stream is over. Appreciate that. Apparently, my title would say 19th. I will fix that once the stream is over. You're looking out. Appreciate you. So, what's going on today? So, what we have, of course, announcement. The Burger Week. It was a great video where we had a chance to go to some of the places we've ate before, some restaurants, and which we highlighted. Those videos are certainly worth taking a look at on their own, because we're actually showing the full girth of what you can do potentially when you're in Haiti, places you can eat, right? But that video just sort of recap, sort of follow up episode, sort of like a part two, where we wanted to show if these businesses are still around, and secondly, what the Holy Burger Week was about. Now I know they announced the winners for Canada, but I have not been able to find anywhere where they announced the winners. This was a competition. This was a competition where a lot of Haitian restaurants were participating, and they were they had judges, and then you, the lay public, could also go on the website and vote and say, "Oh man, I love this burger." Vote. And votes were supposed to be tallied and provided the public. Again, Canada, that happened like right away. The competition ended on the 7th, and on the 8th it was announced. Now I know I think we moved back ours like 2-3 days because of the protests and whatnot. People being unable to get to the restaurants, but I still haven't heard anything about where that is. But in any case, you can check out 3 burgers that I ate, and certainly you can take your guess on which one I voted on, because I certainly did vote, because one in particular was very delicious. So I'll let you try to decide for that one out. All right. Of course, remember we have Dorian. We're trying to raise some funds and some money for that. So we're working with some organizations that are on the ground. So whenever you have a chance, do go ahead and check out that GoFundMe link. It's in the description. Click that. Donate what you can. $5, $20. If you already have donated somewhere else already, great. That's appreciated. You're appreciated. Thank you for that. But if you haven't yet, sit on the fence. Remember, GoFundMe, and whatever small amount you can provide is going to be of tremendous help to these organizations that are going to receive it. All right. So those are the announcements. So let's talk about some, right? Well, actually, before I do, the final one is just the update of how things are in the country right now. Uh, we still, I still don't have gas. So let's see, Sunday, that makes what, 6 days? 5 days? 6 days. We can actually count Sunday, right? That makes 6 days, right? That I haven't had gas. So that gives you the personal update. The country update is, some folks are finding gas. Those who are able to, stand in queue for, hours plus. Um, those who maybe luck out, so finally some periphery cities or areas are getting some gas, which is great. The protests, have whittled down, but still, there's still many places in Port-au-Prince that are experiencing road blockages, are experiencing folks, you know, no pass zones, so to speak, where folks are just saying, we're protesting here. You can't go through your daily business. But a lot of the daily activities have returned from the Pay Lock protests, the newest round, where folks you're seeing deliveries of food products, of gas, grocery stores, and things are returning to some level of normalcy. But still, gas remains something that is very difficult to find. Now, the state did announce that they're going to raise the price of diesel. Um, we're still waiting for that to happen. No one knows exactly how much the price of diesel is going to be raised. So we're still waiting. Gas, there's no announcement, but there has been some talks about, given that there hasn't been any real structural change, and this is going to continue because the government is totally inept in terms of keeping its finances in order, and not able to do basic things, much less things of critical nature like keeping the country stocked up with gas. We have folks who are stockpiling for the black market. There's been talks about uh, managers of gas stations. What they're doing is they're either literally pouring amounts into bins to sell to the back, and or just saying, "Hey, you know what, there's no more," and not giving gas out and just waiting for another week or so for when there's an official gas shortage again, and then they can sell at a black market rate and just pocket the difference. There's been talks of people doing that. There's a concern of that. Obviously, Haiti has no real enforcement of anything, and so folks could be very easy to get away with that. So it's that's a reality now, right? It's a sort of new normal that folks are obviously, being human beings, going to try to take advantage of without any structural change. So that's kind of where we're at. Still no gas. We're on day 6, and I certainly will have a little fiesta party once I do get gas again in the vehicle. The PM, haven't been given an update on that in a while because so much is connected to having a form government, which the Prime Minister being ratified allows the Haitian government to do per our constitution. Again, right now, he passed the lower house since about 2 weeks ago, and he's now in the upper house with the Senate, and he's been unable to be ratified by the Senate. It's just a deadlock. Well, not really. If they actually hold the vote, he would be ratified. But every time there is a vote to be done, the opposition senators, I think we've mentioned before, there's one guy who actually poured gasoline on the chamber floor, right? There are another guy who allowed the public to enter and run amok. And then earlier on, they were doing the standard, destroying the whole entire chamber, the tables and everything. So, we have an opposition of a minority of senators that are making it very difficult and making it impossible for the vote to actually be done by vandalism, violence, and other nonsense, right? So that's kind of where we're at. There's still a big, we don't know when a vote or when a ratification is going to happen. And, why that matters is so much, Haiti doesn't imagine folks who are trying to understand the Haitian government system. Imagine you have a government that's elected, let's say Obama gets elected, but he's unable to put in place any of his cabinet, right? The head of Homeland Security, the head of Agriculture, the head of Health, the Secretary of State, like all those positions, he can't put in place, right? Because that would require a vote from, the senators, right, and the House of Representatives in America. And every time the House of Representatives and senators try to actually vote on Obama's head of cabinet and all that, different departments, a small group of senators basically prevent the vote to actually happen by doing some incredible act of vandalism or inappropriateness, right? To put it lightly, right? I want to use the words I want to use. And so, just I hope folks understand now, that's kind of where we're at. With that, no movement, and thus any real action or activity or structural things that could be done to help improve the situation isn't going to happen. So again, it makes perfect sense now that these folks who are trying to make money off the black market by not distributing the gas at the low level, and again at the high level, there's folks who are talking about how the oil distributors themselves now are holding back gas. Now, in their defense, they had to lose a lot of their reserves during this crisis, and they're saying they're just trying to replenish their reserves. But a lot of people are like, screw your reserves. We need gas right now. You need to disperse what you got, and then you worry about your reserves later, is what folks are saying. On one level, and other folks are saying it's more sinister than that. These folks are withholding gas because it's in their best interest, because it probably puts pressure on the Haitian government, and ultimately it inoculates the people to higher prices. So when the price does go up, but not as much as the black market price, they'll complain less. And again, and that's what people are saying. Am I buying into it? No. Right. But I understand why someone would buy into it. So I'm not faulting that. Right. That's where we're at. That's the updates on the ground. Hate to say this cliche, but pray for Haiti, right? Because it's untenable, it's unsustainable. I just don't know how a country can go from not having any electricity, not being able to manage basic things, and now the most important basic one of the next important thing of gasoline, the country can't even manage that, and that is a level of frustration, sadness, pity, a lot of emotions mixed into one, fatigueness. That it certainly, for the normal person, would have them, given Haiti the deuces. But for me, it just makes me very clear that what I'm doing here, what we're discussing, is even of the utmost importance, because none of this will change unless we have a complete mindset change of what do we need to do to move forward. And it isn't politics, it isn't charity, right? It's at the first root and foundation. It's creating a new class of business people here in Haiti who can move and be successful and given the resources in the community to do so. And then secondly, eventually directly affecting the political climate. That's down the road. That's after we provide jobs to Haitians, so they're not idle and have time to go and protest because they're working. They're too tired and too busy to work, right? And ultimately, perhaps as an economy that improves, and we have an additional generation who has grown up in school and has a job waiting for them in the country in Haiti. They don't have to migrate, get on a boat, get on a plane to Chile or whatever other country at the time that's taking our best and brightest. They can actually stay in the country. They themselves create jobs, but more importantly, stay around to vote intelligent people, right? It's a trickle down effect. Folks can be like, "Oh man, how do you do it, Chris? How do you do it, Chris? How do you do it? I don't how do you affect that change?" We're just a small group of people, but the trickle down effect of improving the economic conditions on the ground and folks having jobs, and then their kids being able to go to school, and their kids potentially not having to leave the country and stay here and vote with their minds rather than how Haitians are voting today, which they're voting with their stomach. What does that mean? You know, some politician comes around, politician gives mil good. Mil good is equivalent nowadays to just let's say $10, and now they have a vote, right? And now it doesn't matter how corrupt that person is for the next 2 or 3 years. They know next election they can just give another 1,000 good, and they're fine, right? To these hungry people, and they have no incentive to improve their condition, because if they improve their condition, what happens? They're not hungry anymore, and they can't just buy them off with 1,000 good. You see? And so again, it all starts and all ends with, what can we do to overcome the very difficult conditions of doing business here, which is, again, I'm not kidding, it's very difficult, but it is very necessary, right? So that's the updates. Let's move on to our news story. New story. There are some stories I could choose from, but today I really wanted to engage on the topic of CARICOM. CARICOM, for a few folks who don't know, it stands for the Caribbean Community. It is a market zone. It's an international agreement amongst these countries that are located geographically in our region. And initially, it was for an improved level of cooperation amongst these countries, but and that charter, that treaty, that first engagement happened in 1973. But in 2001, they upped the level of cooperation to basically be the goal would be a single market zone for the region, right? And so we're going to talk about how Haiti has progressed within the CARICOM, which, as you can say, obviously, as we sit here today, we're looking at folks, we still have the title of poorest in the hemisphere, right? We still have crises left and right related to poor government mismanagement, right? A GDP that's growing at best 1%. We can probably say with a degree of confidence that we have not gotten far enough, and CARICOM has been pretty ineffective in its capacity to help the Haiti situation. We say that at a high level, but let's dig a little deep in there, and let's talk about, right? We get some context and see what's going on, right? So, the Treaty of Seejeanty. That is a tough word, man. Okay, I'm not saying it, but it was a treaty. It was a treaty in 1973, right? That we got involved inside and that started it. It was initially just 4 or 5 countries: Jamaica, Bahamas, Guyana, and then one more initially. But then they grew to eventually include what we have now, which is 15 full members, and that includes Antigua, Bahamas, Barbados, Belize, Dominica, Grenada, Guyana. All right, we mentioned Jamaica already. Haiti, of course, Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and Grenadines, Suriname, Trinidad, and Tobago. Right. So those are the full countries, the full members. And And then we have associations, which again, it's not even defined yet what being associate even means at this point. Anguilla, Bermuda, British Virgin Islands, Cayman Islands, Turks and Caicos, right? And then we have just straight up observers who literally are invited to meetings, take notes, and that's Aruba, Colombia, Curacao, Dominican Republic, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Saint Martin, and Venezuela, right? That's a full list of folks part of CARICOM, right? And the structure basically every 6 months, a country that's a full member becomes the head of CARICOM. And this is more of a figurehead position where that particular country at the very least is able to propose certain issues to be discussed and potentially voted on. Haiti had their opportunity last year, 2017, if memory serves right, and Jovenel was there, and to his credit, he was able to push an agenda that allowed, at least while the time he was there, many countries to restrict their visa requirements, or reduce or make it easier for Haitians within the CARICOM zone. So to his credit, he was able to do that while he was ahead of it. Now, the moment he wasn't, many countries, turned around and just made it harder again. Bahamas being the clearest touch point of that. They immediately put a very much more difficult process and lower quota for Haitians trying to get visa access, right? So let's talk about hey, Ernie Cool. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you. Good morning. All right. And let me wave to a few folks here on the IG stream. Good morning. Folks who are watching right now on IG. Appreciate you. So, let's talk about what exactly, once in 2001, when the single market treaty was signed, what did some of these things entail? First was the free movement of goods, right? Meaning, within the CARICOM zone, there was supposed to be only very limited, like so long as you can show the proof of origin, there was supposed to be very little barriers to products moving in and out, right? And to this day, that is still true, but Haiti hasn't necessarily ratified many of these agreements. Now, the technical work is there. The agency, MCA, has done quite a bit of technical work to prepare, and get in line with the processes needed for CARICOM countries to do business, and for us to do business with CARICOM countries. But the state has never ratified any of these processes. The state has not gone out its way to this parliament to actually put these laws legally into the books and as required, right? And that's kind of where we're at. The concept. And by the way, there was supposed to be a common external tariff, meaning all these countries, if you're getting a product in to the zone, they're supposed to have basically one set of prices, one set of ways to treat different product categories, right? Haiti really hasn't applied that. They still have kept their own guidelines, unfortunately. And I've talked about this in the past, that the tariff policies of Haiti doesn't make any sense. We allow almost tariff-free a lot of agricultural products to come in the country, which lowers the incentive for our domestic market to supply it, because the prices go low. And there's a lot of farmers, a lot of folks of that peasant class who are natively very good farmers and would prefer to be farming, but have had to move into the city because there is no opportunity for them to make money managing the fields that they are on. and and that's a big part of you know the fact that tariffs for agricultural products plummeted. And this was back, of course, after Duvalier and they uh, a lot of neoliberal policies came in place and lowered the tariff for the good of the people, the good of the people. Which, but since then we've had an economy that is totally dependent on imports, and folks are unable to support themselves. Previously, they were able to at least support themselves, and they're unable to, right? But yet, the tariff policies of Haiti are such that things that we don't produce, things that we have to get abroad, are taxed very high, right? Example: computers, technology, taxed very high, right? One reason why you see so many beat up cars in Haiti isn't that Haitians can't afford nice cars. It's just that the newer and nicer the car is, the higher the tariff and tax they pay. And so the financial incentive is find a little beat up, whoop de whoop in America or Canada or wherever, and then ship it to Haiti, right? And thus get a lower tariff on taxes, right? And again, it's a totally backwards system, right? Where in any other country, you would have a system that, all right, okay. The first question is, what are our domestic industries? What are the things that are important for national security and the growth and subsistence of our people, right? And then we'll say, okay, all right, this is what it is. All right, we're going to tax the hell out of this 90% tariff. We don't want nothing coming in from abroad. We want to be able to, have our domestic players be isolated so they can do what they need to do, and other things that aren't necessarily national security or we know we can't produce right here right now. We're going to lower the tariff and allow folks to purchases to come in. That's how, if there were folks running a government here in Haiti and actually had some thought and perspective, that's how it should work. And a common external tariff, it's very unfortunate that it's not executed here in Haiti, because other countries aren't Haiti. Other countries actually have that foresight, intelligence, and understanding. And I, but because it doesn't align with how Haiti decides to mismanage its tariff policy and its import taxes, you can expect that the Haitian government has been very slow to enact this part of the agreement. Right? We got some more stuff we're going to talk about, but let me take a look and see what our comments are saying now. We got Ondinga, my guy who just hates foreigners. How you doing this morning, sir? He says, what's the strongest country economically in CARICOM? The strongest country, let's see, Jamaica certainly has to be between Bahamas, between Bahamas and Jamaica. Those are the two strongest countries economically. Dominican Republic, in the region, as we know, is very the strongest in the region. They're an observer. They're not really a part of CARICOM. But to their credit, they are working with CARICOM vis-a-vis Europe. The European Union has a special way to plug into their market, and Dominican Republic and CARICOM has created something called a CARI Forum, and they interface with the European Union's economic system together, right? But that's the extent of their relationship. The Dominican Republic doesn't have any influence on CARICOM policies, and most importantly, for Dominican Republic, they don't want anybody influencing their economy and their processes and their systems, which is why they're not a part of CARICOM, right or wrong. Now, we do, and Cuba's not a part of this at all, because one of the requirements to be part of CARICOM is you have to have a democratic process. And Cuba being a Cuba being a communist one-party state, with no real democratic, for the definitions that they defined, processes, Cuba has not been allowed to be a part of CARICOM. So whenever that changes, then they will be invited to be a part of it, right? So great question, Odinga. Appreciate it. John, good morning. Good morning, John Revelation on YouTube. Good morning, my brother. Good morning. We got Videos KO, my friend from Dominican Republic, represented folks who say I'm Dominican Republic hater. At least I got one associate from DR here on the YouTube stream. Good morning, folks. Good morning. All right. Looking at my IG, we got Harris Hill. Good morning, my brother. Out in France. I'm international. We got Harris Hill out in France, right? So good morning, folks. So let's keep on talking. Let's keep on talking about CARICOM, right? And some of the other aspects of the agreement and how Haiti has performed, right? We have, again, a part of the movement of goods. We have other aspects which all relate to what I just talked about. Customs value, rules of origin, technical standards and regulation, all related to trade, right? Again, the first two relates very directly to the free movement of good that I just talked about, and how Haiti has, though, prepared the technical aspects, for example, custom values, rural origin, MCI. The Minister of Commerce and Industry has done a very good job of preparing and even themselves abiding to many of the things they've created. They haven't had the capacity to then turn around, and other agencies they deal with probably the biggest one that agency deals with after agriculture is the DGE, which is the tax office, like the IRS. They haven't been able to impose some of these very necessary things that are needed for CARICOM, for Haiti's involvement in CARICOM, because again, the laws to tell another agency, because again, these things are silos by design, and the only way to get another agency to do something is to get the Senate to pass a law to get them to do something. And since this parliament have little incentive, given what I just talked about, right? They haven't, right? There's supposed to be other aspects like competition policy, and there hasn't been much done on that regard in terms of ensuring that, even for our domestic market, there's little done to ensure that there's dumping from outside countries, right? The most notorious instance of dumping was Arkansas rice, right? Where literally that was dumped, totally eviscerated our local rice market. And thank you, Bill Clinton. We appreciate you for that. We're our favorite supporter of Haiti, right? And of course, there was nothing done, and that's just the cleanest example of it. But it happens daily, it happens consistently and constantly. The one thing that inoculates us from that, on one level, and here in Haiti, I can tell you, is that Haitians like what they like, and Haitians are very slow to change what they consume, right? I know right now, if you drive around Haiti, you'll see Heineken, a lot of Heineken flaggers and that, because Heineken purchased Prestige, they purchased Brahma. I don't know if folks who didn't know that, they did. And the first year or two, they just kind of were just pushing Prestige, but now it's very clear to me that wherever you go, they're really making inroads with the restaurants and really trying to push Heineken beer. And honestly, I'm seeing some Haitians drinking it. I know for the late Burger Week, for example, a lot of the burgers, Heineken was a major sponsor. So a lot of the burgers that were offered, they had Heineken as part of the combo for the drink, for the sandwich. And I saw it. I took note, right? And I think that's a smart play for Heineken. But is Heineken really going to make inroads and change the behavior? Because Haitians like Prestige, like their own Barbancourt. We like the only foreign soda is Coca-Cola. and Sprite to some extent. But Haitians really like our cola, our champagne, Caroon is what we call it. Haitians love that, and there's no other orange drink. It's our orange soda. There's no other orange soda making any inroads in Haiti because of Caroon, right? So that's one thing that sort of inoculates us from, foreign dumping, because Haitians just like what they like, and they just like to stick with Haitian products, at least on that level. I wish we're more consistent across the board, but nonetheless, there is still no mechanism, minus just the natural taste and preferences of Haitians, to protect us from negative aspects of competition. Meanwhile, other CARICOM countries are much more active in that regard, in putting laws and practices to ensure that, and more importantly, ways that once that issue is raised, to investigate and then make a ruling. None of that's happening in Haiti. I'll tell you that right now, right? Pierre Paul with a comment. He says, hopes within a few years comes to Haiti. We're going to come to Haiti and get together and bring a better CARICOM member with the way they do things. Absolutely. I look forward to that, and we do hope Haiti and it really does take this opportunity to improve its space for its entrepreneurs seriously, right? Of course, another aspect of the agreement was the free movement of services and people, right? Now, Haiti has a very limited visa list. Of all the 180 odd countries in the world, only about. Let me see. Let me actually have a little. Let me go into my little list here, and I'll tell you exactly which countries. Haiti has. Let's see here. Haiti has a very small list. Syria, Vietnam, Dominican Republic, and another 4 or 5 countries. When you're coming into Haiti, you need a visa. But then there's over 170 most other countries in the world. Actually, Haiti is one of the most open countries in the world, in so much that you don't need a visa to come into the country. But on the flip side, Haiti has one of the most restrictive passports in the world, right? One of the most restrictive passports in the world, with only, I can say, honestly, maybe 20 countries in the world that allow Haitians to visit, and that, and even this list I'm seeing is a little changed. I think because I see Chile on here, and Chile did change their policy to require Haitians needing visa. But we have Bolivia, we have Ecuador, we have Mauritania in Africa, Zambia, Tanzania, Uganda, right? Madagascar, Indonesia, Philippines, Korea, for what it's worth, South Korea, right? Iran, right? I'm sure a lot of Haitians are just waiting to get to Iran. And then most interestingly is Egypt and Israel. Given the Christian history, and I've seen many trips being organized by different groups for Haitians in Haiti to go to Israel in particular. Given again, Haiti has a very strong Christian connection, and so that is the question of, and again, but more specifically, let's focus on the Caribbean. Most countries in the Caribbean require Haitians to have a visa of some form. Now, what a lot of these countries are doing, instead, they say, here's what we're going to do. And this is a way to be restrictive, but then also say they're honoring CARICOM's free movement policy. Well, any Haitian that has a visa of another country, America, Canada, Bahamas, whatever, and they've already been vetted, you know what? We'll let them in. They can come and do a tourist visa, right? And particularly these people who have business visas in particular, we'll allow them to come in our country, no problem, right? Also, what they'll say, well, also, if they have another passport, we'll let Haitians in. But that's a cop out, because you're not really letting a Haitian in. You're letting an American in who happens to also be Haitian. You see what I'm saying? It's no cop out. But that's what a lot of these CARICOM countries do to restrict, you know, poor immigrant Haitians from just getting on banana boats and just coming over to them and inundating them. Um, that's what they do, right? For right or wrong. And I think the solution there, honestly, is we need an improved Haiti economically, where Haitians don't really want to leave, and that's only then when Haitians don't want to leave or have to leave. Actually, is the better word. That's when we probably will see a less restrictive um, environment for CARICOM in regards to that, right? Right. So before we move on, we're just about done here, folks. I promise. I know we're pushing the time. Just about done, right? And we have Odinga saying, "Oh, 10. Okay, you're responding. How many countries that we are able to have visa free? I appreciate it." And we have Mogzilla on YouTube asking, "Any update on the Prime Minister being appointed?" All right. So Mogzilla, I did talk about that. We're running over time, so I'm not going to repeat it. But if you want to, once this live stream is over, you can replay it. And towards the beginning, I did give a full update on the status of the Prime Minister, but very quickly, uh, nothing's moving forward, nothing's happening. We have a small group of minority senators who are refusing to allow the ratification to happen, right? And that's the quick update I want to give. But again, do check out the full. I gave a very full discussion about that earlier on the stream. So I appreciate the question, man. Appreciate it. So just about wrapping up here. And of course, another thing about CARICOM is that they enacted a Caribbean court. And that Caribbean court is over in Trinidad and Tobago to handle issues of process, right? If two different countries are saying, well, no, this is how we interpreted the agreement for a particular law that CARICOM wants us to have, and the other country says, no, well, this is how you should have done it, and this is how we do it. So the Caribbean Court of Justice isn't there to impose, to supersede the legal authority of a country. A country would never and should never give up their legal due process to another entity, but instead just to handle disagreements of process between two countries, and then make a decision, and then both countries are supposed to then change their laws to abide by, right? So that is a big part of it, and of course we just have a general standardization of laws that are supposed to be enacted, and that's CARICOM as a whole, and that's what it's supposed to do. Now, the reality, and there's other quick little benefits. For example, when instead of for the World Trade Organization, which is like the super trade entity and forum for discussions of trade and trade matters, CARICOM members are able to discuss and be represented by the bloc rather than individually, though they still have individual representation, but because they're represented as a bloc, they have a lot more say, power, and strength in pushing for things that would ultimately benefit the Caribbean region, right? So there's other little benefits like that, right? But the reality is to Haiti's situation is that Haiti has made very little gains, and the CARICOM has not helped them because of the fact that they haven't enacted many of the things that needed to be enacted. They haven't ratified many of the things that need to be ratified. Of the list I just gave of different aspects of how the CARICOM is structured to help and engage, Haiti has only ratified perhaps two portions of that. And the first one being just the fact that they're involved, right? They ratified a law that say, hey, yeah, okay, cool, we're involved with CARICOM. They ratified that, right? They ratified perhaps one section, one component relating to their participation with the legal environment. So basically, they ratified their promise to standardize. Not that they're standardized anything, but they ratified their promise to standardize. And that's it. That's really been the extent of what the Haitian government has done in their involvement. and it's very sad because I can tell you, if I, and knock on wood, eventually, we're going to build something here that is going to be very externally facing. Uh, I certainly would have loved a legal framework, an economic framework to structure my business entity, to also be able to export products to Jamaica very easily, very quickly, and Bahamas, and St. Kitts, and X, Y, and Z, right? But though these countries that I just mentioned, they have pretty mature processes and governments that work exponentially better than Haiti, there still isn't a universal framework as a Haitian doing business here in Haiti can work out of, because of the fact that Haiti itself hasn't ratified many of the things to allow a Haitian company to streamline and work, which is a problem. And one of the core issues facing Haiti and Haiti's potential for development is that the government hasn't done things to help the legal environment and when you business environment legally. And when you have something like CARICOM that exists explicitly to help companies within the zone do business cross border, and the government still has not taken things serious enough to see that as an incredible opportunity, and particularly if they can know, okay, which companies really should have opportunity to benefit. Let's listen to them. Let's get consultations from them and see what we can do to push certain things within CARICOM to allow these companies to be successful, right? Which is a big part of why CARICOM exists, right? There's a reason why we haven't seen any real tangible benefits from an economic level from it, because there isn't any talks or anyone thinking about making these sort of choices, making sort of decisions, and making that sort of resource investment to do that, right? And that's the reality. That's where we're at, right? Some other quick facts. In 2004, 2006, when ICE was deposed, CARICOM had suspended our membership because we didn't have our democratically elected president at the time was deposed, and that goes against the practices. Again, this is why Cuba's not involved. You have to be a functioning democracy to be part of CARICOM. Of course, back when Preval was democratically elected, we were back in it in 2006. So it's a little quick fun fact, I guess if you want to call it that, of that time Seejeanty that existed back in 2004. And I guess that's really it. That's really the extent of what I wanted to talk about today with CARICOM. It continues to be an incredible missed opportunity for Haiti and the Haitian economy, because we don't have a set of parliament, and we don't have an executive branch that really wants to push that agenda of full inclusion and the opportunities that would entail, right? So let me grab a few comments from YouTube. Here we got Odinga saying it seems like DR want nuclear capabilities, thus they want to take over Haiti. I don't think they can do that though. Okay, I'm not sure. I'll be honest with you, man. Dominican Republic wants nothing to do with us. I think if it was up to them, if it was up to Dominican Republic, they would slice off the border between Haiti and DR and just push themselves away, and not have, and be free of the poor black Haitians that are next to them, right? I don't think DR has any desire to put their hand into the piranha soup and the Seejeanty managing Haiti would be, right? So Odinga, I love Haiti, but let's be honest. DR, believe me, DR has no desire to get themselves involved in Haiti besides what they're doing right now, which is building walls, building fences, militarizing their border, all with the purpose of keeping Haitians out their country, and of course changing the constitution so they can kick Haitians out. So Odinga, let's leave that nonsense where it belongs. DR has no desire to take over Haiti. Okay. Videos KO said, yeah, our criminal countries want money. That is correct. Pretty cool. Missing opportunity. Yeah, missing opportunities. You know, you're absolutely right. Videos KO, of course, didn't appreciate my comments just now, as I expected, but still appreciate you, brother. And Odinga, believe me, you know, I am right. Okay. And again, I think that's we're going to end it. I appreciate the folks who watched live. I appreciate those, of course, who watched it afterwards. This is a topic I wanted to talk about for a long time. So the folks who, you know, did, you know, basically take this lesson of CARICOM and our involvement, in our history, and what CARICOM means, and ultimately what CARICOM could do for us. I hope you appreciated this. You know, this is what we're here. We're here to do. We're here to provide news, and we're here to, you know, really talk economic issues at a fundamental level, and really, you know, engage and say, okay, how could this thing help us, and how could we be helped? We as the entrepreneur, how could we be helped if this particular topic or thing could happen? And I think it's very clear with CARICOM. CARICOM holds an incredible amount of opportunity for business people and entrepreneurs here, but we just don't have a government that has ever taken it serious and ever enacted things to allow us to be totally engaged, implemented members, right? But hopefully at some point it will, and that will be a tremendous opportunity for the companies on the ground that are ready, leveraged, and able to take advantage. That's where we're going to end it. As always, I hope you guys share the live. I always forget to mention that, you know, while the live is on, to share it, you know, to bring more people in, get the conversation going. But maybe afterwards, do share the live. That's always appreciated, right? Share it. You know, subscribe if you haven't. If you're new, you're watching. Like, oh, this guy's interesting. You know, he's doing something. He's in Haiti, talking about Haiti issues in English. I haven't seen this before. Let me subscribe, right? Because remember, we're here Monday through Friday with these discussions. So, you know, do subscribe. We'll be here next week on Monday. And of course, you know, that's it. You know, so we're back at it again, guys. Right? We'll be back at it again. And oh, by the way, we're going to be dropping a brand new Seejeanty on location. Well, maybe it's not on location. It's going to be something else. Maybe something else really cool tomorrow. So, you know, just because we're not going to be here tomorrow, Haiti Biz News doesn't mean we're dropping some real interesting content. So make sure you have your notifications on so you catch it when it drops. All right, guys? Okay. So we're back at it again. We'll be back at it again. Peace. 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 And peace. Oh.